Hi everybody, welcome to the thumb. Today I'm going to work on that pollinator strip that I was talking about a while ago, I don't know, 3 or 4 videos ago. I already spread red clover in that spot, hoping the frost seed thing would work. There's still, cold nights going on right now. It's April 13th here in the thumb of Michigan, so it's like 60 degrees today, but I think it's supposed to get down into the teens tonight. So it's still springtime. But what I'm going to do is mix up 2 different buckets of seed, and I'll tell you what it is at the same time. I got 1 bucket for small seed, 1 bucket for larger seed, and I'm just going to mix them together. Not the large and small, but the larger seeds and smaller seeds all together. Anyway, so I'm going to start off with this, which is crimson clover. These are probably on the larger side of the small seeds. I'm just doing this just so you can kind of see what they are. I mean, it's gray, but it's got a coating on it, so that's why I'm going to put 2 cups of that in there, just because I have lots. And it's pretty. So yeah, it is crimson clover. I'm going to just kind of say what it is, and if you guys are curious, you can Google it and look it up, see what it looks like. But what it is, this is all stuff that I had laying around, mostly for cover crops and food plots and whatever. But it's just seed that I already had, and I'm just mixing it together as a pollinator strip. And here's alfalfa, which again, it's green, but it's got a coating on it. That's a pretty small seed, about the size of a clover seed. This is probably don't need this much seed, but I like the way that looks. I've never actually seen it growing. I've seen a lot of pictures of it, but this just is kind of a brown seed. I'm getting a lot of seed here. So that is Facelia. This is turnip. When we look at turnips as a cover crop or a food plot, I mean, we usually plant it in late summer, early fall, and you just plant it mainly for the forage part of it. But it does actually put out a nice flower, and yeah, we'll see that later. That's about it. Oh wait, here's some. This is white clover, which doesn't get real tall, but again, it has a white flower on it. That's why they call it white clover, probably. But this I bought a while ago, and I don't remember what I bought it for, but I was almost a little bit afraid to plant it, just because I was afraid it would kind of become a weed. And then the critters got into it, so it's just kind of laying in the bottom of a tote. So that's about it for the small seeds. Yeah, that's about it for the small seeds. Now I'm going to go to the larger seeds. Start off with buckwheat. These larger seeds I'm going to put larger portions because seed doesn't go as far when it's large. Buckwheat, yeah, I probably shouldn't be planting it this time of year. But this seed here, I bought it pretty cheap because I bought it from a farmer who was growing it. And I can't remember what I paid for it. I want to say like for a 50-pound bag, I paid like $10 or something. I mean, it was pretty cheap compared to cover crop seed stuff. But that being said, I probably not the right time to plant it, but it's also I've had it go to seed or come back as a volunteer after I plant the cover crops or whatever. Here's another one that I've always been afraid to plant as a cover crop, hairy vetch. That's a pretty good size seed. That's about the size of a BB. I'm going to put a couple of them in there. But that's got a real nice purple flower to it from any picture I've ever seen. And here's another one that you don't really think of as a flowering plant. It's radishes. You know, like, I don't know, daikon radish, I guess they're called, or one seed radish. I think that's about all I have here. Let's see, I got that. I'm going to put some more buckwheat in this one, just because I have a lot of it. Of this kind of it anyway. This stuff I'll probably just kind of mix up and kind of broadcast with my hand. The other stuff I'll use my little spinner. So that's about it. Now I'm gonna kind of mix it up and head out to the fence row where I'm gonna make this pollinator strip. And yeah, we'll hope that it grows. Okay, this is take 2 of this part. I just kind of got a little bit, I rambled on a lot. So this is where I'm planting the pollinator strip. It's just it never really grew a whole lot here. I don't know why. I mean, obviously there's probably some, it washes out here. I mean, you can see by the corn stalks and stuff that washed out of that field. And there's a tile thing there, and then there's a ditch that goes across the field. So that might have a little bit to do with it, but it's kind of lighter soil. It doesn't really have a lot of, say, organic matter in it. It's just not real desirable. Never really grew very good. I mean, I've only farmed it for 5 years, but I've never really been that impressed with it. So it's kind of a prime candidate for a pollinator strip. Let's see, and then this up here, I'm going to plant it along that fence up there too. There's enough room for me to drive my tractor up through there. Doesn't really look like it right now, but there is. Yeah, so I'm going to plant it there too. So it's obviously for the bees, but also for the pheasants and turkeys and probably the deer. It got alfalfa, clover, whatever in it. So yeah, it's for the wildlife as well as the bees. So it's pollinator and birds, I guess, or wildlife. Anyway, yeah, I'll show you what I got going. So I'm just going to fill this up. Hopefully I'll get a few fill-ups out of it. Just put it in this bag so it didn't spill out anywhere. So yeah, I'm not gonna, I mean, you've seen this stuff happen before. It's just a spinner and it spins out the seed. So I'm not gonna probably get any footage of this. You know what's going on. So yeah, so this one I'm using this spinner, the smaller seed I'm using this spinner for. And then the larger seed, which is still in the back of the tractor there, I'm going to use that for, I'm just going to like spread that out by hand. The old fashioned way. Just because it's bigger seed and I think I can get away with it that way. So, yeah, I'll do some and I'll touch back with you and let you know how things went. Okay, now I'm into the larger portion of this video. So the larger seed, I'm just going to spread it, the good old-fashioned way. And I've always had pretty good luck doing this. But I want to show you real quick what I'm planting into, and then I'll probably just go ahead and end the video that way. Okay, first I'll show you this end. This is that blank field end. This was actually worked last year. I had rye in it, and I put the fence up basically through the rye field. So the rye on this side was never harvested, and if I look close enough, there probably is rye growing in here, just from volunteer. But you can see the pods and stuff that there's probably still seed in that. Oh, something must have got it. But yeah, that's what I'm planting into. It's basically crop field. a lot of open spots. Nothing real good for cover for any wildlife, but the deer will love it. But I wanted to show you this end as far as the pheasants go. There was, when I was a kid, I could get off the school bus, grab the dog and the gun, and it was pretty easy to, between say 4 o'clock when I got home from school till 5 o'clock when I had to start chores. It was nothing to put up half a dozen birds every night. Not saying I shot that many, but I had a pretty good dog and he could put them up, but they were there, I guess is what I'm getting at. But like this fence row, you don't see very many of these fence rows around here anymore. I heard that saying, back in the, say the 70s or whatever, they used to farm from fence row to fence row. Well, now that everybody just took the fence rows out, that's what it looks like. You farm from fence line to fence line, imaginary fence rows. But yeah, and here we are putting fences back in. Anyway, here's the part I wanted to show you. This is actually pretty good cover for pheasants, old and young. It's kind of cool because you do hear pheasants every now and then, and I think they'll come back. I'm pretty optimistic about it, but this is what it's going to take, is just to have some cover for them. And the stuff I threw out there today, that'll give them some food. The young ones, they'll eat bugs, and then they'll move on to eating seeds. And the fence will kind of give them some protection, and fence rows will give them some protection from hawks and other predators. Plus I don't know where they actually lay their nests, but I'm assuming in fence rows like this. So yeah, so I think what I'm doing is a good thing. And it's just kind of use for ground that isn't being farmed. It's kind of giving back, you might say. Actually being a steward of the land. It kind of irritates me sometimes of when somebody says a farmer is a steward of the land. There was a time where a farmer had the right to puff his chest out and say, yep, I am a steward of the land. But now, when they're ripping out every fence row and basically killing off any chance for any wildlife to live. Yeah, okay, so they're taking care of their land, or they're putting fertilizer and stuff on it, but I think it kind of gets away from the true meaning of that. Anyway, I could get going on that, but I'm not going to. But anyway, so here's what I'm trying to preserve is just a pheasant habitat. Turkeys, I think they could survive about anywhere. Not worried about them. And really, when I was a young kid, like 7, 8 years old, I remember hearing bobwhite quails. And I guess if I hear a bobwhite quail do their little whistle, then I'll know I actually did some good. But even just hearing pheasants, I haven't hunted a pheasant since I was probably about 14 years old. So yeah, that was, I'm not gonna say how long ago that was, but it was a while ago. And ever since then, I just quit doing it because there's nothing there to hunt. So anyway, so yeah, I want to create a habitat to bring in some birds so I can shoot them. No, just seriously, I want to create a habitat for the wildlife. So that being said, so I appreciate you guys watching Thumb Country Stuff, and yeah, leave in the comments of maybe if you guys did a pollinator strip, what you planted in it, why you planted it. Yeah, just let me know whether you're a hunter or a farmer, or just somebody who owns a little chunk of land and planted a pollinator strip. Just let me know, and maybe it'll get a little conversation going. But again, thanks for watching Thumb Country Stuff, and take her easy.